Darkness falls across the land.
Give me back my hand.
Creatures crawl in search of blood.
Nobody knocks off an old man in my neighborhood.
Hello there. Welcome to my review of episode 4 of Eerie, Indiana, The Losers. It begins with Marshall informing us that things in Eerie have a habit of getting lost at a much higher rate than other places, something which is particularly affecting his already absent-minded father.
Dad's just been a little absent-minded lately.
4 sets of car keys, 9 pens, and 2 address books. That's just this week.
We then see this in action as, during breakfast, his dad puts his briefcase in the fridge when he goes for some milk, before a desperate search for the case ensues. Mr. Teller says the briefcase isn't as important as its contents that really matters, which upsets Mrs. Teller as she gave it to him as a gift.
Yeah, I could care less about the briefcase. The petroleum-based banana extract was in there.
On the surface, these goings-on don't seem particularly mysterious, even if Marshall is convinced the case's disappearance is down to Eerie being weird. This is a clever twist on the sci-fi trope of strange occurrences being dismissed as perfectly normal. In Eerie, Marshall expects perfectly normal events to be down to something weird going on. We then get another trope subversion as Marshall and Simon try to intentionally lose $1 so they can follow it, only for it to fall into the hands of a biker gang.
Yes, sir. Your Harley ship, sir.
Shut up.
Who happily return the $1 to Marshall.
You ought to be more careful. You might have lost this.
The boys then attempt to lose luggage with Marshall inside, which this time works as he's collected by B-movie legend and regular Joe Dante collaborator Dick Miller. Marshall then finds himself in the company of fellow Dante regular Henry Gibson in the Bureau of Lost, where all lost items in Eerie end up. There are a whole heap of in-jokes in these scenes as we see the pod from Invasion of the Body Snatchers, having also made a cameo in Gremlins 2, Citizen Kane's famous sledge, Lifebuoy from the Titanic, and the Washington DC Liberty Bell, amongst others. It appears that Gibson and Miller work for an organization who requires all of the things that people regularly lose, as well as some unique one-off items. They operate to ensure that the economy runs smoothly by making people have to rebuy things that are lost. Gibson's Mr. Lodgepool is unwilling to return Mr. Teller's briefcase to Marshall, as he goes about removing pieces from model kits and jigsaw puzzles. Marshall is unsuccessful, but back on the surface, Simon is following Miller's owl and works out he can get to Marshall by covering himself with odd socks. The boys escape with proof and soon receive a visit from Lodgepool, furious he has lost something, and with Mr. Teller's briefcase for a trade. As a result of these events, Lodgepool has been demoted, and Al is now in his position.
Stop by the chicken farm. Take out the drainage system, okay?
Oh, no, not the drainage system.
This is a fun little episode with some reliable performances from Miller and Gibson. More entertaining than the Dogs episode due to this. There are also some allusions to the idea of built-in obsolescence, with small items being lost on purpose.
Imagine what would happen if people never lost anything. Well, they'd hang on to their old belongings until they wore out. They'd
go and probably do something silly like have them fixed.
And the silliness of conspiracy theories is also a point of mockery, as nobody really believes a government agency exists to keep the economy running by stealing things from the public, and yet there are plenty of conspiracy theories almost as daft. I feel like there could have been more little in-jokes in the Bureau of Lost, but it's not a huge problem, as there's plenty of fun to be had.
I have a list of things the head office wants misplaced ASAP.
Contact lenses, boat anchors, horseshoes, World Series tickets, ballpoint pen caps.
And plenty of jokes to be made with the things that go missing. Things that inexplicably disappear, never to be found again, such as pen lids and earring backs. For me, this is another 5 out of 5 episode. Not as much depth as the previous, but a lot of fun. Thank you. Goodbye.